Break free from toxic behaviors. Girls, I know you're probably saying, I am not toxic, he's toxic, or they're toxic. But today's lessons, we're going to go over a list of characteristics and go through a self-awareness assessment to determine whether you're reacting, if your behaviors is healthy, broken, or toxic, to be able to manifest your dreams into reality. So settle in and let's begin, ladies. Get your women's wellness workbook. Get your workbook out. It's time to do some reflection and admit the truth and act accordingly. So get your chakras, get your tea, get your water. Let's get ready. And let's begin with the show. So yesterday, not yesterday, I wasn't on yesterday, guys. I'm all of a sudden my dreams and visions that I've had said 6 years ago, all of a sudden it was like today's the day. Last week, and all of a sudden I'm packing myself and getting ready to move, and so I'm trying to stay with these daily videos, but if I do miss one or two, it's because all of a sudden I got caught up in an extra workload, also trying to manage other businesses and whatnot and personal affairs. So, which I have another secret coming. Stay tuned for tomorrow so you can see my secret. I'm super excited. So today, look in your workbook where pull up this page in your workbook. Healthy, broken, toxic. This is where the magic happens, guys. This is where I stop sabotaging my dreams, or I stop sabotaging myself. Um and so I was very, very toxic. And sometimes I can still be toxic. Not that not that I'm proud of that, but anyways, going down another rabbit hole. Let's stick to the charts. Because I realized on the last time I did this video, I was supposed to get through this whole all of it ends up being 12 different characteristic traits that we're going to analyze about ourselves. So there's 12 different characteristic traits, if you look, that you're gonna do a self-assessment, and you're gonna say, does my behavior healthy, broken, and toxic in every one of those topics? And then we're going to break it down into each category and see, what does that mean? What does it actually look like to identify not just first yourself? We're going to do ourself first, but and then we can then look outward and say, okay, is my partner acting in this way or that way? And this is like admitting the truth and acting accordingly. Then we start knowing where it is that we need to practice different habits in order to stop sabotaging our dreams and our goals into reality. So I realized the other day that this ends up being like 19 pages of wording scripture to go through all of the 12 different sectors. So I'm going to have to break it down. I'm just going to do two today. So I want you to do your self-evaluation and identify where do you think you fit in each category. Then look at the toxic side, the toxic column, see which ones you have circled, or in the broken side, which ones you have circled, and then that will be an indicator. Okay, this is the category or the sector that I really do need to work on to be able to manifest what I really want in life. All right, so for today, we're only gonna go over two of the 12 characteristics. I got balloons. I don't know why I got balloons, but we're gonna go over self-love and communication. Get your water. If you don't have your water, if you have your candle, light your candle. If you have your favorite essential oil, grade A essential oil, put on your favorite essential oil. Ooh, that just poured down. You saw how that many drops fell down? That means you really need it. Your body's pulling that the energy, the frequency, the vibrations, and that's what I teach is frequencies and vibrations, energies. Emotion is energy in motion. So I'm helping you tap into your subconscious, into the emotions that sabotage in the subconscious that makes us react in a way that could be sabotaging our true dreams for love, finance, or just physical health. So we will go over just for today, and each day we'll just keep going over two of the different categories. Today we're going to start with self-love and what was it, and empathy. So I hope you have already given yourself a personal assessment as to where do you think you fit in each category. And then we'll start from the top, go down to the bottom, and see how you can start shifting your mindset and start acting instead of reacting to life, so that you can achieve the best outcome in obtaining what it is that your main goal in life. So let's start off with self-love. Okay, so in self-love, a person who who is healthy behaviors in self-love, that's going to reflect as high self-love and self-respect. If your self-love is broken, your self-love behaviors will be low self-esteem and low self-worth. If it's broken, or if it's toxic, inconsistent self-view, sometimes self-aggrandizing, and other times self-depreciating. So aggrandizing is grandiose. It's like making yourself sound like grandiose. And so let's explore different scenarios in each sector and how. So, okay, yeah, let's explore in each sector, healthy, broken, and toxic, when it comes to self-love in a relationship setting. What does that look like? What would it look like? So, in a healthy relationship, if in a healthy relationship setting, someone with high self-love and self-respect demonstrates the following. So um let's use Sarah and Alex as the example. Sarah respects herself and sets clear boundaries with Alex. She communicates her needs openly and respectfully without fear or judgment. When Alex appreciates her efforts, she accepts the compliments graciously, and when there are conflicts, she approaches them with calm and constructive mindset. She values her own well-being and ensures she takes time for self-care. So, which allows her to bring her best self into the relationship. So, in a healthy relationship and self-love, the characteristics traits are going to be that there's going to be clear boundaries, there's going to be open and respectful communication, and the acceptance of compliments and constructive feedback. And they prioritize their self-care. In self-love, a broken relationship setting with someone will reflect with someone with self-esteem, low self-esteem, and low self-worth. And it may look like this. So let's use Jane and Mike as the example. Jane and Mike are in a broken self-love relationship. So their self-love is broken and they're in the relationship together. And so Jane struggles with low self-esteem and often doubts her self-worth. She frequently seeks validation from Mike, needing consistent reassurance that she is loved and valued. Jane tends to avoid expressing her needs or feelings, fearing that it might cause conflict or lead Mike to reject her. When Mike criticizes her, even constructively, she takes it very personally and internalizes it as a reflection of her own worth. Jane also neglects her self-care, always prioritizing Mike's needs over her own. So, if your self-love is broken, you may behave in ways that's constantly seeking validation. It avoids expressing needs and feelings. You may take criticism personally, or you may neglect your self-care. So I want you to think about your self-love. Are you really healthy, broken, or toxic? So let's talk about the toxic version of a relationship setting. Let's use Tom and Lisa. Tom's self-love is inconsistent. At times, he boasts about his achievements and expects Lisa to constantly praise him. Other times, inconsistency. Oh wait, he falls deep into self depreciation, believing he is worthless and undeserving of love. This inconsistency creates a volatile environment in the relationship. When Tom feels superior, he may belittle Lisa, but when he feels down, he may become overly dependent of her emotional support, expecting her to lift him up consistently. His behavior swings create confusion and instability. So overall, what it looks like in a toxic relationship when it comes to self-love, the self-love is inconsistent self-views. They have highs and lows. They have times where they're like grandiose, I do this and I do that, and then they'll have times where they're like, I ain't, I am worthless. They depreciate. It could also be, the behaviors could also be come out as belittling people, belittling your partner, and feeling superior. You could also become overly dependent or on a partner when feeling down. So you use your partner as a way to lift your emotions, your emotions. So by understanding these examples, we can better recognize our own behaviors and work towards healthier patterns towards self-love in our relationship. So it's important to strive to balance where we respect ourselves, we set clear boundaries, and we prioritize our self-care while also fostering an open and respectful communication with our partners. So I want you to think about where you lay in that, and don't be hard on yourself. I want you to understand that this is why we are called generational curse breakers, because we are starting to break the patterns that no longer serves us. And these patterns could very much come from learned behavior and learned mindsets from our parents, from our ancestors, from the people who raised us, um, from religion, from our social backgrounds, our communities. And so I want you to honestly grade yourself where it is that where you feel that you're at. And if you're not in a healthy, if you're not reacting in healthy behaviors, I want you to, um, I want to congratulate you from at least being able to admit that to yourself. But now I want you to look at the possibilities that are available to you. Now you know what is a toxic behavior for you, and I want you to start practicing healthier ways of being. I also want you to know that these healthy, broken, and toxic behaviors, they stem from they stem in our or they stay it's the essence of our emotions, our chakras, our emotional energy center. And so I'm trying to think where I want to go with this, because I don't want to confuse you. So let's first go through the next list of the empathy. And after I do the first two sets, for the two sets of the traits, then I'm gonna go into our chakras and talk about how healthy broken how our chakras or our emotional energy center can become or look like in our chakras. Okay, so let's just keep going here. Okay, so for empathy, how do you grade yourself um in being your behaviors in healthy, broken, or toxic when it comes to your empathy? So in a healthy behaviors of a healthy empathy would be compassionate and understanding. Broken would be limited empathy, struggles to connect with others' feelings, and toxic would be manipulative, uses others' emotions for personal growth. And so let's go again through create three different scenarios: a scenario in a healthy relationship, scenario for a broken relationship, and a scenario in a toxic relationship, so you can help better determine where do you lie in this category. And then also think about your partner. If you are in a in a relationship, it doesn't even have to be in a love relationship. It could be your mothers, your sisters, your brother, family, friends, whoever is your boss. So when it comes to love, money, finances, and physical, how do you see the relationships when it comes to empathy? In a healthy relationship setting, someone who's compassionate and understanding will demonstrate the following. So here's the example. We have Emily and Chris. Emily is highly empathetic and always takes time to understand Chris's feelings and perspectives. When Chris has had a rough day at work, Emily listens actively, offering support and comfort without judgment. She can sense when Chris needs space and when he needs to talk, and she respects his needs. Her empathy strengthens their bond, fostering a deep sense of connection and trust between them. So, what are the traits? Excuse me. As somebody who with a healthy empathy would be active listening, understanding and supportive, respects partners' needs, and fosters connection and trust. In a broken relationship setting, someone with limited uh, empathy might exhibit the following behaviors. So the example is, imagine Laura and Ben. Laura struggles with empathy and often finds it difficult to connect with Ben's feelings. When Ben tries to share his emotions, Laura feels uncomfortable and doesn't know how to respond. She often changes the subject or offer solution without truly understanding what Ben is going through. The lack of emotional connection leaves Ben feeling unsupported and misunderstood, creating a distance between them. So the key traits in this would be that one would struggle to connect with the partner's feelings, feels uncomfortable with emotional conversations, offers solutions instead of emotional support, and creates emotional distance. So, in a toxic relationship, someone who it would show as someone who is manipulative and uses others' emotions for personal gain. It may exhibit in the following behaviors. So, the example we're going to use Sarah and Jack. Jack appears empathetic, but his empathy is of a facade. He uses to manipulate Sarah. He pretends to understand and care about her feelings only to gain her trust and get what he wants. When Sarah opens up about her vulnerabilities, Jack later uses his information to control and manipulate her, making her feel guilty or in debt to him. His actions are self-serving, and he lacks genuine concern for Sarah's well-being. The character traits of this is the toxic person pretends to understand and care. They use empathy to gain trust. They manipulate and control their partner. They lack genuine concern for the partner's well-being. So by understanding these examples, we can better recognize our own behaviors and work towards healthier patterns of empathy in our relationships. It is important to strive for a balance where we can generally understand and support our partners, fostering deep connections and trust. Me. So, I feel like there's a lot of shame and a lot of guilt coming, and even like a lot of fear because, being vulnerable, of admitting the truth and acting accordingly. So, I want to go down your emotional energy, your chakras, and I want to talk to you about how how h- how is it that we begin to act in these ways that are not favorable, and then how do we break from those toxic behaviors so that we can obtain our true desires for love, for abundance, and for physical health. So these scenarios that we're going to talk about your root chakra, your sacral chakra, your solar plexus chakra, your heart chakra, your throat chakra. So remember, your crystals are all symbols of your chakras, your third eye chakra, and your crown chakra, and your chakras is your emotional energy center. So the first example we're going to go over, let me remove. Okay. The first example that we are going to go over is your root chakra. So that is your red crystal in your emotional wellness kit, which, by the way, your ebook is available online now for $29.99. You just click on the button and have your ebook delivered to you. You can get that through my website at vitalityvalueswellness.com. Vitalityvalueswellness.com for your personal woman's wellness workbook if you don't have a workbook, so that you can begin the journey to healing yourself, discovering your purpose, and manifesting your dreams and your goals into reality. All right, so with your root chakra, if you went to one of my retreats, you got a kit. I don't have one here next to me. Oh yeah, I do. You got an affirmation kit with your woman's wellness workbook, and a little bag with samples of essential oils. You got crystals, your 7 crystal chakras, and some other goodies in there. But in that kit, you'll have a red chakra, and so get your red chakra. And I want you to focus and think about your red root chakra identifies, or what do you call it? It encapsulates your feelings of safety, security, and survival. So a woman who would be have a healthy root chakra, she's gonna feel grounded, secure, and at peace with her surroundings. She has a strong sense of self and stability, trusting in her ability to provide for herself and meet her basic needs. Her actions reflect responsibility, reliability, and connection to the physical world. So she manages her finances well. She has a stable home environment, and she feels confident in handling life's challenges. So that's somebody with a healthy root chakra, your red stone. A woman with a broken root chakra, she's going to feel anxious, insecure, and she often fears for her safety. She may struggle with financial instability or feel disconnected from her surroundings. There's a constant sense of not having enough, or the fear that things are going to fall apart. So she's going to be constantly worrying about her financial situation, no matter how secure it is. And she's going to feel fearful and anxious on her daily life. Okay. How does it look like in a toxic? So if your root chakra is toxic, she becomes overly controlling, materialistic. She's obsessed with safety and to the point of paranoia. She may hoard resources or manipulate others to control over her environment, often at the expense of her relationships. So the example would show as she isolates herself, she refuses to trust others, she engages in manipulative behavior to keep people close to them or to control the outcome. So somebody like that is probably mostly putting like, if you're around somebody with a toxic root chakra, if it's just like you and that other person, that the toxic person, and let's say a third party comes in, they're gonna probably put like fear and doubt, saying, "Oh, look at she's, fear and doubt that that person is bad, so that you can stay all to themselves." So I also want you to think about your root chakra, your chakras, and how, if you are behaving in healthy, broken, and toxic ways, again, so that we know, okay, that's my root chakra. That's, that comes from my reactions are coming based, from the need of the fear, or the need for safety, security, and survival, your basic needs to survive. And things can happen in our lives that maybe, women, for us, for we're women, a number of things can happen. I mean, not just women, just human beings, is, at birth, we can lose our birth parents, which leave us with a sense of abandonment. So our needs for safety, security, and survival, since in child, and or young in age, can be disrupted, and will begin to create broken or toxic behaviors as a defensive need, or a need to survive. And then we react like that. Let's just say we, and then we have kids, and we teach our kids, and our kids are reacting in those survival needs of security, safety, and that's toxic. And then they don't, but really that need is not there anymore. And so it's just learned behavior. And so that's why we're tapping into the subconscious, to our emotions, to be able to identify, who am I? Where do I come from? Where am I broken? Where am I toxic? Where am I healthy? Let's celebrate the healthy parts about us too. If you are behaving in these healthy behaviors, high five to you, because that is hard, and that you have to I mean, if you're being called to this channel, most likely you're not. You're not acting in these healthy behaviors. But if you are, high five to you, because to me it says that you've been working on yourself. You've been practicing this. You've been really putting in the work. And so let's keep moving forward. Let me see, how much time do we got going? 30 minutes. Okay. So yeah, I think this will be sufficient in time to go through the 7 root chakras. We already did one, so we have 6 more chakras to go through, which I want you to go through each example, and journal. Okay, yeah, my root chakra, my sacral chakra, my solar plexus, my heart chakra, my throat chakra, my third eye, my crown chakra, that's where I need more work. That's where I need to pay more attention, because I don't like the way I react. I don't like the way I have this fear and doubt in people, and I tell people off, and it ruins, relationships that I wish I could have. And now I'm living in resentment and fear and doubt, and I don't want that no more. I want love. I want just peace. I want joy. I just, I'm not, I feel like most people, they don't ask for too much. We just want to be peaceful. And I want to remind you that there's more than peace and joy. There's love, true love. There's abundance. There's a whole ocean of money out there. And it's really weird for me to say this, because I didn't believe it at once. But I really, truly started putting in this work about 6 years ago. 6 years ago, for 2 years, I did it by myself. My husband happened to have an accident around that 2-year mark, and so he was forced. not forced, because nobody's forced. We all have free will. But because of his health conditions, it calmed him down. He couldn't run. He wasn't out there in the bars. And so he started to practice these behaviors with me. And in 4 years, we went from broke, poor, being evicted. The car got repoed. I just want to cry now. 4 years ago, wow, we were going through eviction. We got the car repoed. He had a horrible accident. And but we started, and we would wake up, like right now I guess I'm getting emotional because I've been waking up this week. He finished his job, so we started okay, so we would wake up in the morning and having that fear, looking at each other. 4 years ago, I remember being in this living room waking up, and him there and I'm there, and he had this panic and fear. But mind you, I had already had 2 years practicing these behaviors. So when I see him, he's panicked. I don't have a job. What am I gonna do? And I'm like, calm down. We're not gonna run to the next McDonald's first job that is offered to you, minimum wage, which there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But I knew his skills and his skills levels, and I knew my skill levels at the time. I had just graduated, received my certification for integrative nutritional health coaching. And so I had just started registered my business, did all the things that I needed to be an established business. And so I said, no, now's the time for you to get your stuff in order. And he was on drugs. He was like, he couldn't think. He was like in worry mode, and how am I gonna do that? And I calmed him down, and I filled out his application. I started the business. And then he's like, oh, and so he got confidence, and we built him a little business card, and then he put on his shirt on, and he went out there and started asking for work, and he got the work. And 4 years later, we are wealthy, in love and in finances. And we're moving. We're building a house in Puerto Rico. We're traveling. We're in union with each other. We had to break old patterns that no longer served us. And it was through me going through these examples that I'm showing you that awakened me to, oh, because I was always pointing the finger. Oh, you, it's you, right? But until I became the trailblazer, and even though he was on drugs and getting on that motorcycle and going to the bars, and after going to the bars or whatever, and I was like angry and mad, and I would call my girlfriend. So this was how my toxic behavior. I'd call my girlfriend, come get me. Let's go out and let's get drunk. And I would come back and I'll show you. So that was actually sabotaging my dreams to be in union and in love, with trust, with communication with him. So when we become victimized, we will then react in ways that is immoral or illegal, as like our natural reaction. And so now, by learning this, we're not going to react anymore. We're going to start acting, because we're not going to fall for the banana in the tailpipe no more. We're going to understand that, okay, this is a test. This is just a test. Where is it? Where is it you feel the stress and anxiety? What your body can tell you. You may not be able to feel it now, but as you start to detox, then you'll become more mindful and awareness of your body and your emotions, and you'll be able to tap in a lot faster. It all depends on where you're at in your on your wellness journey, because it could be your wellness journey, could be spiritual or physical or mental, whatever. Okay, where am I at? So, I get so excited. So once I started practicing these these new behaviors, once I started being able to admit the truth and act accordingly and say, okay, I feel victimized. I'm not gonna do anything that's illegal or immoral. I'm gonna stay in truth with my integrity. And even though he's leaving, he's getting dressed, he's smelling good, and he's going out, and I don't know where he's gonna go, I'm not gonna worry about that. I'm going to shield myself, shield my energy. I'm going to block myself. I created a vision board, and then I started putting an action plan to that vision board. And every day I would try these small little tasks, and until it got me where I'm at right now. So I could see the video. We have cameras, and I could see he just arriving. All right, so let's talk about. Let's go ahead and keep going to down the list. And let's talk about your sacral chakra. That's your orange crystal. That is your emotional sexuality and creativity. So your emotions, sexuality, and creativity. In a healthy woman, she is emotionally balanced, creative, and in touch with her sensuality. She feels confident expressing her desires and is comfortable with her sexuality and enjoys creating meaningful connections. There is a healthy flow of emotions, pleasures, and creativity energy. And so basically she enjoys nurturing her creative thoughts, hobbies, and feels comfortable expressing her emotions and forms of healthy emotions and physical connections. Let me see, how much are we doing on time here? Okay, 35 after. Okay. If she has a broken sacral chakra, she's gonna feel emotionally numb, disconnected from her desires. She struggles with intimacy. She may have a hard time assessing her creativity or lack of joy and pleasure in life. She might feel repressed and overly dependent on others for an emotional validation. So basically, she avoids intimacy. She feels uncomfortable with her body. She suppresses her emotions, uh, often feeling empty or disconnected. I can see him. He's like standing out the door. All right. So now let's go through a toxic. How does it look if it has toxic behaviors when it comes to her sacral chakra, the orange? No. Yeah, sacral chakra. So she would become overly indulgent, manipulative with her emotions, and uses her sexuality to control others. Her emotional response might be extreme, and she might engage in unhealthy relationships that are driven by pleasure seeking behaviors without emotional connection. So she engages in superficial relationships using her charm or sexuality to manipulate or control others while avoiding real emotional intimacy. So think about your sacral chakra and how it may be affecting your reactions or your actions and your behaviors towards love, finance, and physical health. Is it broken, healthy, broken, or toxic? And again, do not be hard on yourself, as these behaviors may have stemmed due to trauma. Due to trauma, you had to learn these toxic behaviors to manipulate men so that they weren't hurting you. But in the long run, we became we learned these toxic behaviors, and that's all we know. We don't know how to trust. We don't know how to what is a healthy. She's emotionally balanced and creative. She's sensual, but she's, it's not. It's almost she has confidence in herself to be her authentic self by expressing her desires. She's comfortable with her sexuality, but she's not like manipulating you with with that. So think about how your sacral chakra, how healthy is your sacral chakra? Are you healthy, broken, or toxic? Again, this is just for you to be able to reflect and be able to start the work on yourself, on opening these chakras, on balancing these chakras, so that you can start acting in ways that's in alignment with your desires for true love, for abundance, for financial health. Okay, so now let's talk about your solar plexus. That's your yellow crystal. Your solar plexus. So a woman with a healthy solar plexus, she's gonna be confident, self-assured, embraces her personal power. She feels worthy and believes in her ability to achieve her goals. She respects herself and others, and her actions reflect confidence without arrogance. She is empowered and has healthy boundaries. She takes on leadership roles, set boundaries when necessary, and confidently pursues her dreams without feeling the need to compete with others. So that's how your solar plexus looks like when it's healthy. Your solar plexus has to do with your power, your confidence, and your self-worth. If that is broken, she struggles with low self-esteem, she doubts her abilities, she feels powerless. She may avoid taking risk or expressing herself fully out of fear of failure or rejection. She often lets others take control of her life and may feel stuck or directionless. So, what does that look like? She may hesitate to pursue her goals, often giving in to others' opinions and doubts her decisions, leading to lack of personal growth. How does it look like if your solar plexus is toxic? So, and then and lots of people think the thing is, men are usually, at least in the Latinos and like in the black communities, I know that toxic behaviors with for men is applaud, and they're like, um, what do you, I don't know why I could always say that word, grandiose, grandized, um, toxic behaviors in men. They applaud each other's toxic behavior, and the more toxic you are, the better and the best man that you are. So how can a woman react in healthy ways if we are dealing with toxic partners? And so, or we may be broken. I think when I say broken, I think that's just normal. I think broken is everybody is the 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 I think that when the term broken is the population, what do you say? The average population is that we are broken, and then we teeter totter from being broken, because that's how everybody is, to being toxic or to being healthy. And so, and that will happen sometimes. We can be normal, what we call normal, and then toxic, and then healthy. So let's keep moving. When it comes to your solar plexus chakra, your power, confidence, and self-worth, if her solar plexus chakra is toxic, she becomes domineering, controlling, overly competitive. She might try to assert her power over others by belittling them or engaging in manipulative behaviors. She seeks validation through external success and may disregard needs to get may disregard others needs to get ahead. So she underestimates others' efforts to feel superior, demands attention, and manipulates situations to keep herself in a position of power. Let's move on to your root chakra. When it comes to love, compassion, and emotional healing, healthy, she is compassionate, loving, and open to both giving and receiving. She has healthy relationship based on mutual respect and emotional connections. Her actions are motivated by kindness and empathy, and she holds space for others without losing herself. So the example is that she builds strong, supportive relationship and is able to forgive others and herself, practicing love and compassion. In broken a broken heart chakra, she's gonna feel emotionally wounded and struggles to connect with others. She may be closed off, afraid to trust due to past hurts. She can be overly protective of her heart, leading to emotional distance in her relationships. So she isolates herself emotionally, avoids deep connections, and feels afraid of being hurt again. If the heart chakra is toxic, she uses love as a weapon or becomes overly dependent in relationships. She might manipulate others by withholding love or affection for the use of guilt to control others. Her actions may be driven by jealousy, possessiveness, or fear of abandonment. So the example would be is that she is constantly tests her partner's loyalty. She becomes possessive and uses emotional manipulation to keep people close, even if it's unhealthy. So think about, where does your heart chakra lay? Your reactions. Is your heart chakra healthy, broken, or toxic? And so all of these, your chakras, your emotional energy center, your emotions is part of your subconscious, and in your subconscious is what builds that belief systems that creates the action, the physical action for us to move acting out. So if you look on your women's wellness workbook, um and healthy, broken, and toxic work page, you have all of these different characteristics when it comes to self-love and blah blah blah. And you can see if you are healthy, broken, and toxic. Again, don't be hard on yourself, because it stems from our actions are stem from our reactions from past traumas, past hurts, and not just from our own, our parents, our ancestors, and so on and so forth. So let's move on to the throat chakra. Communication of your throat chakra has to do with communication, self-expression, and your truth. In a healthy throat chakra, she communicates clearly, speaks her truth with confidence, and listens actively. She feels comfortable expressing her thoughts and emotions in a way that is honest yet respectful. Her communication is authentic, and she values transparency in her relationships. She speaks her mind without fear, listens to others' perspectives, and engages in meaningful conversations. If it's broken, she feels silence. She struggles with expressing herself or has trouble communicating her needs. She may fear judgment or rejection, causing her to withhold her thoughts and emotions. There's often a feeling of being misunderstood or unheard. She avoids confrontation, rarely speaks up for herself, and struggles to communicate her needs effectively. So that is if your throat, your blue crystal, your blue throat chakra is broken. If your blue throat chakra is toxic, she manipulates or dominates conversations, using her words to control or deceive others. She may speak harshly or dishonest to protect her ego or get her way. She may interrupt or invalidate others' feelings, dismissing their perspectives. She talks over others, spreads misinformation, or uses guilt and manipulation in her speech to control the situations. Think about your throat chakra and where you lay. Let's move forward to the third eye, your intuition, your insight, your clarity. In a healthy third eye, she's intuitive, insightful. She trusts her inner wisdom. She sees beyond the surface of the situation and has a clear sense of direction in her life. Her actions are guided by a deep sense of knowing, and she is open to spiritual growth and self-awareness. She trusts her gut feeling and often makes decisions that align with her higher purpose, embracing self-awareness and growth. If your third eye is broken, she doubts her intuition and struggles to see the bigger picture. She may feel confused or a lack of clarity and often second guess herself. There is a sense of mental fog or uncertainty, causing her to feel lost or disconnected from your inner guidance. She frequently changes her mind or hesitates to make a decision. She's unsure of which path to follow. That is a broken third eye. If your third eye is toxic, she is delusional or manipulates others' perceptions. She uses deception or false spirituality to control situations. She may dismiss reality, rely on illusions, or manipulate spiritual beliefs for personal gain. Her ego blinds her from seeing the truth. She convinces others to follow her ideas, and even if they are based on delusions, and uses spiritual manipulations to keep control over people's beliefs. I really feel that like people who are into like witchcraft and voodoo, I don't know, voodoo. Uh, I think I think there's more to the word term voodoo. But yeah, like true black magic witchcraft and trying to hex people and all that. That's somebody with the toxic third eye. It's like they don't see a higher purpose. It's like they're very much here in the material world and they don't have trust in a higher power. So that is somebody with a toxic third eye. Let's keep moving forward to your crown chakra. Spiritual connection, unity, higher purpose. So somebody with a healthy crown chakra, that is your violet or clear, your white crystal. She feels connected with a higher purpose and embraces spiritual growth. She is open to new ideas, deeply in tune with the universe. She understands her role in the greater scheme of life. She seeks to elevate her consciousness and acts in alignment with her soul's path. She practices mindfulness, seeks wisdom from spiritual teachings, and feels a deep sense of connection within herself and the world around her. Broken. She feels disconnected from spirituality or lacks a sense of purpose. There may be a feeling of isolation or lack of meaning. She may feel stuck in the material world and struggle to find deeper fulfillment. She feels lost, questions her existence, and finds little meaning in everyday life. That is a broken crown chakra. If your crown chakra is toxic, she becomes spiritually arrogant, uses her perceived enlightenment to control, to judge or control others. She may see herself as superior due to her spiritual knowledge and demises others' beliefs. She may also use spirituality as a way to escape reality rather than engage with it. She imposes her spiritual beliefs on others, dismisses their past, and behaves as if she has all the answers, looking down on those who don't follow her. So that is someone with a toxic crown chakra. So those are your 7 chakras, and how they look like, eh, and how they look like in a healthy, broken, and toxic behaviors in a woman. Woo! So that was a lot, guys. And 52 minutes. I give myself 1 hour for 1 hour sessions. I think we're doing good. Good. So yeah, next session, I'm gonna go over the next 2 categories on your sheet. What is it? I got the mother load over here, guys, ladies. So anyways, we'll go over the next two categories, which is communication and boundaries. So let's stop sabotaging our dreams, our goals and desires into reality by reflecting, admitting the truth, and acting according, by analyzing ourselves and our behaviors, our reactions, and saying and identifying, are those behaviors healthy? Is it broken behaviors, or is it toxic? And let's become that generational curse breaker and setting the steps and acting, reacting, and acting in new, different ways in order to obtain what we really desire in life. So until tomorrow, drink your water, stay within love and light, and adios.